Hello, biological anthropology lecture students. This announcement is for the week of April 27th. The materials that we're going to be discussing this week are going to be on the first true members of our genus, the genus Homo. Last week, we were looking at the transitional forms that are moving from Australopithecines to the genus Homo. And we looked at the lens, not just through the PowerPoint lecture, which I left you, but also one of the major films that I asked you to watch, The Dawn of Humanity. At the very end of that film, that video, you will hope you watch that. In the last 5 minutes, it really begins to discuss sort of a new metaphor for human sort of evolution, and one that we sort of want to discuss for a couple moments here before going on. That metaphor was a Brainy String. And essentially what that meant was that many researchers feel that there were so many closely allied species and subspecies that as members, the different pockets of these populations were forced to migrate to different parts of Africa, during different climatic episodes. So when the times are really good, small populations will be migrating away, following game, finding new habitats. But as conditions might change towards becoming more arid environments, these small populations would contract again around maybe larger sources where there's resources or where there's water. And when this happens or occurs, then you get hybridization, right? Sexual contact between these populations. And what they really feel is that the conditions had gotten so critically bad at one point, it brought all the populations back, around larger lakes such as Lake Victoria, and these were significant bodies of fresh water that are over 15, some to 1,700 feet deep, which would have been collecting pots for them. And of course, collapsing their differences. And what emerges is one sort of species, and that species is what we're going to talk about this week, Homo erectus. All right, but remember that that's one hypothesis. Some of the data tends to show that, but it also doesn't preclude that species are also changing by anagenesis. So, those species progressively coming more towards us too. So both these things are probably acting together. Anagenesis, and also the idea of hybridization. The degrees of which to that, we're nowhere near being able to figure it out. So if you got to the end of that film, this is the suggestion. They were just stunned by beginning to find some new metaphor right now, which is under active investigation. All right. Now let's go on to the stuff this week, Homo erectus. Now, Homo erectus we know a lot about. Homo erectus is probably so far the most successful member of the hominin gang. Homo erectus begins to emerge in a solid form at about 1.8 million years ago. And in many cases, down to 500,000 years ago, Homo erectus is still around. So, well over, maybe a million, 1.2 to 1.4 million years of time, this species is on Earth. It's a breakthrough species in a number of ways, which we're going to be seeing. And how we're going to investigate it this week are through two things like we did last week, through a PowerPoint lecture with sound, which I want you to watch right after this. And also I have 3 videos that we want to watch this week, 2 short and 1 a full-length presentation. The video lists are this: Mirror Neurons, it runs 15 to 18 minutes. I want you to watch something on Stone Age language mystery. In other words, how language might have been produced and what evidence we have it for Homo erectus. That's roughly a 15-minute sort of watch. And then we'll be looking at the second part of the Becoming Human film series, which you saw the first part last week, called Becoming Human Part 2. Right, this is the rise of Homo erectus. That will be about a 50-minute presentation. So far, total about an hour and a half of videos for this week, plus the PowerPoint, which you get through, which should take you about an hour. That leaves you about 2.5 hours of material, comparable to what you're going to find, what I would probably deliver during the normal week. Now, on top of this, you must be doing your readings. And that's in the story of the human body. What I had found is I looked in my sort of catalog of stuff that I had, and a few years ago, I began to actually photocopy that book. So I actually posted chapters 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, in which I had in my collection. So if you don't have the book right now, I have chapters 3 through 8, and I place them at the bottom of this page, and you'll see them down there. I can't leave them there indefinitely. It would be a copyright infringement, but having a few chapters around during these times is legally and it's actually acceptably okay. So they're there for you to view also. Now, when I put chapters 3 through 8 on there, it actually is a hint that those are the chapters that we need to be done with through and understood by the end of this week to keep you on task to do the last 5 chapters going down the home stretch and fully preparing you for the final examination. Final examination will be online, but with a catch. I'm going to give you the questions, a week ahead of time. And you're going to have an entire week to write the responses online. I will leave the whole thing open. It won't be closed until you finally submit it. So you can keep typing in your responses or researching it. Well, in that way, you don't have to worry about, Word documents flying back and forth across the email. And it'll be a lot more convenient for you too. All right, so the last thing I wanted to say is the films themselves that you're going to be watching. I've kind of clued you in the PowerPoint lecture, when would be a good time to sort of watch those videos. I really do sort of recommend that. But uh, too, I've had students too that have just watched the videos and watched my PowerPoint, and it's made complete sense. So I think one way or the other will work better. I sort of recommend, going to do what I think is right, like get to a certain part of the lecture in the PowerPoint, and when it says go watch the video, I think that'll work out best for you. I just think that way, okay? But if you just want to get the videos over with, I don't think it's really going to hurt you either way. All right. So once again, if you have any problems, hit me up. Let me know what's going on by email. And of course, text message or voice is just fine. Again, 916-588-6619. I'm always here for you to clarify anything, to help you ask any questions. All right? Take care. Bye.